The Alliance for Substance Abuse Prevention, or ASAP as it's called, is a partnership of local residents, organizations, and decision makers working to reduce addiction and its consequences. As a coalition, ASAP coordinates community-wide strategies to prevent substance misuse and help people with addiction live successful lives in recovery. They're here with us today to discuss what they do as a coalition and to promote their youth initiative, STAND, and their upcoming events. Our friends from Pasco ASAP, well, they're up next on Bayside. Good morning and welcome to Bayside. I'm your host, Shelly Sanders. So we are talking all about Pasco ASAP and their youth initiative, STAND. This is such a beautiful thing going on up there and getting the youth involved. Who better to speak with about it than our ASAP chair, Ms. Chrissy Paris. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show, I should say. This isn't your first go-round with us.
It isn't. Thank you for having us again.
Sure. And you brought friends with you this time. You've got Jocelyn here, and we'll be speaking with others here in a minute. Welcome to the show, Jocelyn.
Hi.
Now, you are one of the STAND youth, aren't you?
Yes.
Wow, I can't wait to hear all about it. Before we dive in and talk to you, Jocelyn, I want to talk about a little bit about what I kind of alluded to in the open, and that's what you guys do here. What does Pasco ASAP do here locally in the Tampa Bay area? What does it mean to our viewers? Perhaps no one's heard of you before.
Right. So we meet monthly as a coalition. It's open to the community members. We are data driven, so we do assessments in the community to find out what kind of drugs are really causing issues for our teens, our families, and our community. We build health and wellness and building the strengths of our community as well to keep people from turning to drugs as a prevention step. We build plans and then we evaluate our effectiveness.
Wow.
So we're all about just preventing people from using and falling into the path of addiction.
Sure. That is a giant undertaking in and of itself, especially with all the drugs that are out there today. And just when you think we're making ground or headway on one, something else pops up and it presents a new challenge in and of itself. Who are the members of this coalition? Who are we talking about when you have these monthly meetings, when we're talking residences and businesses? Give us some examples.
Sure. So we have parents. We love to keep our youth involved when they can get there. Unfortunately, is during school hours. So during the summer is when we have the most youth involvement. Law enforcement, the schools, businesses, churches, faith-based groups as well. And then youth-serving organizations, behavioral health, healthcare industry. So really anybody in the community. We feel like everybody has a role in preventing the misuse of drugs, and that's as well as alcohol. So we want everybody to feel like they have a role, and if not a role in directly preventing the use of drugs, it's in building a healthy community.
Right. I mean, because ultimately it affects everyone in the community. So giving a voice to each role, if you will, is a great thing, right?
It is, and it's not about like pointing fingers and placing blame. It's about just building solutions, and the more strength and the more viewpoints and perceptions we have in the room, the better the strategies are that we can come up with.
Sure, and it's useless trying to point blame. I mean, addiction affects every walk of life. There is no real targeted group.
Right. It's there's no. It doesn't matter what our income is,
Right.
if we have a job or not. That it really can affect anybody, and so that's something that when we're looking at to get further upstream, is really to draw our youth in and get them prepared, ready, understand what they're facing in life, and address this, build those strengths up as early as we can.
Sure. That being said, so addressing those issues that our youth may have, tell me, Jocelyn, tell me what it's like As an upcoming 8th grader, tell me what it's your experience with STAND, with ASAP and the STAND initiative, and what it means to be one of these youth.
It means a lot, especially because when we go out into the communities, we see a lot of adults, even youth out there, and we can tell that when these adults are going to other adults, they're not getting the message across of what these drugs are doing. But when adults are seeing these youth members coming out and saying these things, it really changes their mind and changes the way that you react to when somebody says those drugs or alcohol. And even with youth, they don't understand what it really does to you. They just want to try new things. And some people mark it by groups, like the cool kids are doing it, and they want to be one of those people. And it's really not that, it's not that way. And when we do these things, we can't have it that way.
Yeah, there's a bigger risk involved, isn't there? Now, did you know did you know much about drugs and or alcohol when you first got involved? Tell me about that journey.
No, I really didn't. I learned almost everything through my coordinator, Miss Sharon. We didn't, at first when I heard about these things, it was through my parents saying don't do those things. But I didn't know what they did. I just learned not to do them.
Sure.
Because I thought that it was a one-day thing and that's it. By learning through Miss Sharon, I've learned that once you do it, you get addicted to these things, and it's not a choice. I mean, it's a choice to do it at first, but once you get addicted, it's not a choice no more.
You bring up a very good point, though, Jocelyn. You weren't exactly sure what drugs and alcohol were. You just knew not to do them. And that's kind of hard to wrap your brain around, isn't it, a little bit, if you don't even know what it is you're not supposed to do? Was that right?
Parents sometimes don't explain what drugs do to you because they're your kids and they don't explain everything. And through Miss Sharon, I really learned what they did to you, and it's really changed everything, because at first it was a one-day thing, and now it's not.
Do you find that now that you're a STAND youth, that now that you are equipped with this knowledge and you know exactly what these drugs and what alcohol does to your body and what the effects can be, and that it can be tragic, and that now you have something to actually put into your thought process, do you find that now that you know this, it makes it better when you're talking with friends or even others, and that you're better equipped to be able to tell, maybe even in the future, you know, down the road, you'll have kids one day and be able to tell your children?
Yes. During school projects, if we'll say like what things are better in the world and how to prevent certain things, and we go on the topic of drugs, and kids just say things and it's like, it's not that simple. And and when I explain it to them, you can see that they don't understand it, but also it's because they didn't know it.
Exactly. Wow, doing big things. You're hearing it from our youth right here in the Bay Area. Big things are happening all the way to Tallahassee. All right, you can read more about it or get more educated yourself by logging onto this website, pascoasap.com. It's going to give you all the information that we talk about here today on the show, and then some, even how you can get involved or perhaps benefit from some of their services as well. By all means, log on to the website or ours, cw44.com. We'll have a link for you there as well. Why don't you do that now while we take a short break? Welcome back to Bayside. I'm your host, Shelly Sanders. We've been talking all about Pasco ASAP and their fantastic youth initiative called STAND. Now, we talked with Jocelyn earlier. Now we have two more beautiful ladies with us, Annabelle and Mariah. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
Now, we were talking during the break, and you are freshman this year, so we've got the beginning of your high school career here. And Annabelle, you are a senior this year, so you're sort of wrapping up your high school career, if you will.
Yes,
right?
I am. Yes, I am.
Wow. Well, best of luck to you, ladies. That's exciting, both sides of that. So Talk to me a little bit about what it means to be a STAND youth. Mariah, why don't we just start right out of the gate with you?
All right.
How did you get involved?
I went to Salvation Army, which is across the street from Pasco Middle School, and Sharon, our mentor, came in one day and she asked us if we would like to join. And at first I was confused about what it was, what we were gonna do, and once I joined, I found out a lot of cool things, learned a lot, and had fun along the way.
Sure. What kind of things did you learn?
Well, I learned what drugs really do to you, because when we were younger, people would tell us, oh, it's harmless. Certain drugs, they'd lie and say, hey, it's just like candy, why don't you try it, and stuff like that. And then we learned what it really does and what it really is and how it can affect your life on a whole nother level.
Sure. Were you surprised by that?
Yeah.
And just to see the evidence when you look out now, do you have a different viewpoint to when you see people doing drugs? What kind of effect does that have on you now versus then?
Well,
it's got to be a little sad, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, Annabelle, from your perspective, how did you come to be involved with Pasco ASAP and become a STAND youth?
So I was with Miss Sharon. She was my mentor. She talked to me about things, and you know, being around it a lot, you know, it's a lot in our schools and in our community. She sort of told me, hey, you seem like a leader. You could really like change it and make a difference for other people. That's when I got involved, and she said that if I continue to get involved and spread the word about it, then a lot of people will, you know, stop doing it and learn more about it.
Have you seen that happen at all? Have you had the privilege of talking to other youth, like your students in your school perhaps, or other kids?
We were on a panel not long ago, and all of STAND was on a panel talking about how it's affecting our community and the different things that we could do and how you could join us and be a part of STAND and how you could make a difference yourself.
Sure.
Talking directly to youth.
Now, you guys, how long have you been with ASAP? How long have you been a STAND youth?
I've only been for about a year.
Okay, and yourself?
I'm going into my 4th year.
Oh, wow. So 4 years. Now, were you part of the group that went to Tallahassee?
Yes.
Wow. Tell me about that and what you were hoping to accomplish there.
Well, it was fun, and it was an amazing experience. I was really happy, and I really felt like we're making a change. And we talked to state legislators about the problem and what we would like to change. We want to spread the word so less people get hurt, and we are working on it.
Sure.
And I feel like we've come a long way, and we're doing good. We're hitting up there.
You're getting out there, but your voices are being heard. Is that right?
Yes.
That's the message that I'm getting here. So you did feel like that you were listened to and that you were heard, and you're making some headway here, huh?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So, okay, Annabelle, we also talked to you during the break, and y'all, all this are brains too. She's this pretty and so smart. You're going to graduate early this year, but you're paying it forward. Tell us what you're going to be doing.
I'm going to go to PHSC and get involved in human services so I can continue to do this and continue to change people's lives and how they see things, and, you know, sort of redirect them from the wrong path.
Sure. So this is very much a passion of yours. And clearly you too, Mariah. You've been involved for 4 years, and I'm assuming you're not going to not be involved throughout your high school years, right?
I'm sticking with STAND. It's made a huge difference in my life, and I like that difference. For sure.
I love that, and I'm sure the people with Pasco ASAP would agree with that statement. So what is it that you would tell other youth that are maybe, you know, feel a little lost and that are maybe at risk of doing drugs or experiencing, you know, experimenting with alcohol? What would you say to that person?
First of all, stand makes a big difference. You know, once you get involved, you're hooked. It's really like an amazing experience to go up in front of all these, you know, head leaders in the community and speak your mind, and they all sit down and listen to you. It's not something that we get very often as youth and teenagers, because there's a stigma around, you know, drug use and everything, that if we're using these drugs and we have issues with it, then, you know, we're bad people, when really it's, you should treat it as an illness, that if we're sick, we go to the doctor. If we're having issues with drugs, we need therapy and we need, you know, rehabilitation, and a lot of people don't see it that way.
Sure.
And so I'm looking, and Stan itself is looking to change that stigma.
Great. And you guys realize you are the future, so making good headway. Keep it up. Keep up the good work, ladies. All right, if you'd like more information, or perhaps you'd like to get involved, or you could benefit from this and just want to check it out, log on to this website. It's pascoasap.com. That's the website you're looking at right there. That's going to give you all the information and then some of everything that we're talking about today. All right, why don't you check out the website? We're going to take a short break, but we're coming back after this. Welcome back to Bayside. I'm your host, Shelly Sanders. We've been talking all about Pasco ASAP and their youth initiative, Stand. Now, we've talked with both Chrissy Harris and Annabelle. You know, first of all, I have to say I commend all of your youth, the ones that I've met so far. You guys are just incredible. I'm so impressed by all the great things that you're doing, heading to Tallahassee, the whole 9 yards, and you are making a career path out of this. This is where your passion lies. And you know what? Congratulations. There are a lot of adults out there that have no idea what their passion is. So you're ahead of most, just so you know. So Chrissy, let's talk about talk a little bit about the fact that this is September. What does that mean for Pasco ASAP?
Right, so September is National Recovery Month, and we have an event next weekend, September 22nd, where we are putting resources together for those in recovery. So in addition to preventing people from turning to drugs and misusing and falling into the path of addiction, we also want to support the recovery movement and make sure that those in recovery feel supported, know that we're there for them. So bringing together resources, jobs, and just support systems that they can get involved with. And that's going to be in Trinity next Saturday. And
then October is also a big month coming up here too. You've got a big deal there. Why is that important?
Yes, so September is National Substance Abuse Awareness Month. That encompasses Red Ribbon Week, which is in a lot of schools. A lot of us grew up with that. And so that's a week where a lot of schools just participate and bring that drug information out. We do a lot of speaking events. And during that week, on Thursday, is our Narcotic Overdose Prevention and Education NOPE Candlelight Vigil. That's held across the country as well, and that's the date that we'd like to honor it. We are having it again this year, actually at Pasco Hernando State College in Newport Richey. And we hope to engage. It's really a night to remember those that we've lost to the battle of addiction, and also bring a story of hope that people do recover, and that there is a system and a support system out there there to help you make the first step if you feel like you need that support.
And all that information, by the way, is on their website. So if you would like to get involved in that, you can always log on to their website, pascoasap.com. We'll give you a link on our website and put that back up for you just in case you want to get involved there. So speaking of involvement, let's talk about getting involved. How does a youth come to get involved in Stand, Annabelle?
Like you said, go on to pascoasap.com, contact us. Anybody can get involved. Anybody that, you know, really wants to be involved in this and make a difference is welcome to.
Okay, and certainly anyone that's struggling with addiction, right?
Yes.
Would you say, if you're a youth struggling with addiction? And by the way, adults, we're talking to you as well, so you can always log on to the same website, right?
Yes.
Chrissy? All right, you're looking at the website right there. It's pascoasap.com. Pascoasap.com gives you all the info that we talked about today on the show, as well as everything else that they do, which is a lot, by the way. We'll have a link for you on ours as well, cw44.com. So if you get lost, click there. In the meantime, we're taking a short break, so come back. We'll be coming back to you after this. As always, I want to thank you for joining us here on Bayside. And of course, Chrissy, thank you so much for being here. And Annabelle, Jocelyn, and Mariah as well. Thank you for coming and enlightening us on what you guys do here in the Bay Area. For you at home, if you'd like to get involved, and I encourage you to do that every single week, log on to their website, pascoasap.com. We'll have a link for you on our website, cw44.com as well, in case you get lost. For now, have a great rest of your week. I'm Shelley Sanders.